Hello, friends, what's going on? Hopefully, everybody's fine, and I would like to welcome every single new member here in the inner circle. Yeah, guys, we have next week a new fresh week, so hopefully, everybody's motivated. I'm always on fire whenever I see it's Sunday. The markets are going to open very, very soon, and this is why, I'm going to use right now this time that we are going to go over the price action on Thursday and Friday because we can learn a lot of things about what the price has given us right now the last 2 days. I know the markets are currently a little bit tricky sometimes, okay? So also for me, it's not always super easy to understand what a market is about to do. But we're doing our best, and of course, we are learning out of our failures because this is what will bring us to the next level at the end. Now, Thursday's price action really learned us a lot of things about structure and a lot of things about the higher time frame narrative. Now, to say it up front, it is possible that we're just going to stay right now here on M15 and we're going to just follow the swing structure on this time frame and we will be able to make a lot of crazy trades. Now, of course, we use multiple time frame analysis here, and here on this example we can really see how important that is, okay? Because the more time frames you will understand to read, the better it is. Now, the thing is to not overcomplicate things. Now, the time frames that are relevant for us is always the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hours, the 1 hour, the M15, the M5, the M1, and the 5 seconds. Okay? So these are the most relevant time frames that I'm using. More than likely, I like to skip sometimes the 1 hours if it doesn't make sense. And I also like to skip the M5 if it doesn't make too much sense to me. So more than likely, I like to use the 1M, the M15, the 4 hour, the daily, the monthly, and the 5 seconds only for the entry confirmations. So I'm just going to repeat that because it's important to keep that in mind. Okay, so I don't want you to see right now here trying to find something on the 2 hours or on the 3 hours, or 45 minutes. I don't know. It's definitely possible at some point, but I just think it will just overcomplicate everything for everybody, especially if you are a beginner, okay? Because the thing is, these time frames that we're using are going to just tell you the whole details that we need, and that's it. Okay, now, super important. We're going to go right now over Thursday's price action, and what we can see here on the 4 hour is right now an example which doesn't occur that often. Okay, this is why it was complicated that week. Okay, so whenever things get complicated, they have a reason for that, and that's messy price action. In this case, very obvious, it's that drop here. So we predicted the whole drop. It was clear why, because everything was here bearish. So if you look here back, you can see how price has provided you here a lot of liquidity. And we talked about that option, and this is why we traded this kind of thing. But I didn't hold it right now that much, so I made, I guess, over 50 R, something like that is what I made with a trade here, and I only traded it from the top till here, and that's it. But the price went all the way back down here, so there was definitely much more possibility here. But everything cool. What we need to understand is that this price action is still important right now and relevant for the future price prediction about what price could do. Here I'm just going to apply right now structure, and it's not even necessary to go on a daily, because on a daily you will see just the same picture. Okay, and this is why I don't like to use too much time frames. So you can see here pretty easy, a price previously had broken here some structure. I mean this one. That was a valid BOS. And since the whole range right now here, price never broke structure again. And this is the messy part of this whole thing, because the original movement from where this comes is here. So that means that is our protected high. So we don't expect price to exceed that. You can also see that what price is doing here is supply chain. Now, what is here difficult on a supply chain is always it's providing a liquidity. Okay, this is a supply chain. It will provide you liquidity. So you see just price coming from one supply zone to another one, mitigating it. And this will be then obviously just liquidity. And what you can expect here is price to come and to go lower afterwards, like this. And in this case, you can see that your protected one is right up here. And you can see that this is a valid supply zone. So we could use this one to look for an entry, which is totally fine. But we need to keep in mind that price from here failed to break this structure. Okay, now that means that this is a weak high. And that will mean that price could use this easily as liquidity. And that is the whole clue right now about this piece of price action. So we've learned right now here some new things. I mean, it's nothing new, but it's interesting because it's in this context right now where you can see the price didn't broke it. So for me, this is not a break of structure, especially right now if you're new. Please check out the market structure video. This is just a liquidity grab because price failed to close with the body below this structure. And that will lead to me, yeah, this is my protected high. So we're still bearish. Now this is the 4 hours, and we can see from the first view that this is probably the daily, what I meant here. So I'm just going here in the daily. You can see it here on the daily pretty good. This is your BOS, and this is your high, okay? Now you could have, of course, drawing it like this as well on the daily, which is also totally fine, because here you have right now the same picture, but we'll go over that right now in the outlook. So when we're going to speak about the outlook, right now I just want to explain you right now from the view that we had on Thursdays on how we should have been looking at this whole market, you know. Then, so this is right now our swing structure, okay? This is how price move. So what we need to understand now is what is the market structure doing internally, because that will affect our current bearish or bullish order flow, what it is, and what kind of direction we should trade. We just understand right now from this structure perspective what we are. So this is obviously target, okay? So we expect price to come at least till this level to sweep liquidity below it. So it could go crazy below it. So something similar like price did here, but it could also just do something like here, you know? So you have here a lot of variations. So now we are looking here at this and we're trying to understand what price is doing. And we can see that price, yes, it's going bullish, breaking structure to the upside, but it's still part of a bearish leg, you know. Now here, what you can expect in a situation like this is the price will come to a demand area, and this is, for instance, a valid demand zone. This is a valid demand zone. Now it's always in a situation like this a little bit tricky to understand right now, okay, how I'm going to enter and which demand zone is right now relevant for me. So this is why we're going to just use the lower time frame. So if we know here this is a valid demand zone, and that will make it right now automatically valid for us to look here within this demand zone for potential long setups. But what we do is we just use the timing, the perfect timing, and we just wait for the New York and for the London Open to see where we will see a nice trading opportunity. Now 1 hour is right now for me nothing interesting, to be honest, so I cannot really read something which will bring me right now further. M15 just looks a little bit more detailed and makes just more sense. Now what you can see here is, yeah, that could be right now already a range mitigation. That would mean, okay, price doesn't need to come all the way back down to refine this demand zone, to mitigate this refined demand zone. It's not necessary. What you can see right now here furthermore is that price switched here back bullish, okay, by breaking here some sort of structure, and also it's going here the same kind of thing, going bullish. Then here it starts to go bearish, right? It starts to go bearish here. That's the first real break of structure, is here the first one, okay. But it's part of a bullish lag, which means this is also a demand zone, and price could just respect it from here, or it could drop down lower. For us, it will be just important to see right now, okay, what will price do now really at the Frankfurt Open. So I'm just going to press the play button. We come to 8 o'clock, so about 8 o'clock. Now you see this sort of price action, and this just tells us the whole intention of the market. It tells us right now, okay, this was a range mitigation. It shows us, yes, it took here pretty nice liquidity, and yes, here you have a ton of liquidity to grab from. And because of the matter of fact that we understand now, price could go easily higher because you have here a strong bullish momentum. We could just go very quickly, could go very quickly on the 4 hours to understand here something. On the 4 hours, you have here definitely a supply range which just needs to be mitigated, you know. So that's what we expect. So right now, also because of that big imbalance that we have, our overall bias should be at this point definitely bullish instead of bearish. Now, what's possible is, because of the matter of fact that we understood here we have something, okay, so we have here definitely that was a news event that caused a drop. Still, we know that here is also a news event that caused the whole drop, so 2 events. This one already mitigated, and price actually failed from here to go lower, right? Because it needed to go below this. So it will totally validate then at that point, okay, we're going to go for this bearish movement. But as you can see, price didn't anything like that. But in fact, what it gave us on the M15 was that price tapped into this demand zone, used the liquidity, and it's just moving up, breaking structure after structure. So that means right now for us, when it will be 8 o'clock, we need to look definitely for some buying positions, because right now the only option would be here at the supply to look for a short. But you have here a lot of liquidity, like here, everything, so supply chain, plus these equal highs up there. So this is for me just a nice bullish setup, you know. So I'm just going to go right now the 1 minute to understand what 1 minute is trying to give me here. Also very quickly, probably on the M5 to see what it is here the case. So you got definitely here a supply zone. Potentially you could look here to go for a short, refining it a little bit on the M1, and that one here will make definitely a lot of sense. And yeah, you can see definitely price starts to react here, and potentially even offering you right now short setup. So for me right now at this point, it will be totally valid if you have a bearish bias, because you say, okay, I want to come into this POI, for me it just makes sense. Will be okay. I would just say what speaks against the whole idea is really the matter of fact that price from here failed to go lower, and that means it's still bullish, you know. So this is right now the M1. You can see right now really the swing structure pretty clearly. You can see that it is just bullish, you know. So it doesn't make any sense from this perspective to say, okay, price will now fail to go higher and it will just drop down from there, okay, because nothing really switched. Everything is bullish, especially because you see right now here price just broke structure after structure. So it doesn't make really sense to look for shorts here. Now, if this context right now would have been already at that one protected swing structure, then I would say totally legit to look for any sort of opportunities to go short. I would totally agree with that. But in this overall context, well, you're in the middle, you're just reacting off of supply zone, and you have another supply zone up there, plus a ton of liquidity up there, and prices right now shifting back bullish after it hit a M15 demand zone. It's just super risky, you know. I mean, yes, the M1 is giving you right now confirmation, but why not just following the bullish order flow? Because if you will always follow the bullish order flow, and this is here, as you can see pretty clearly, price is just providing you right now here demand zones after demand zones mitigations, and you should just look for price to come to tap into these zones. Okay, so that one would be nice liquidity for it. Yeah, it's tapping into it, you know, so this is a whole demand zone. It's tapping right now into this, and it's just at 8 o'clock. So from my point of view, that will be a little bit tricky to get involved right up there in the first one, because what I want to see on 8 o'clock is to see the reaction, you know, to see what price is doing in reality. And what it is doing right now, and this is right now, should definitely convince everybody to go here, definitely bullish, but not at this option here, because this option is a little bit tricky. Yes, I agree with that. And also me, that's not kind of my view on how I would do that, because I'm always waiting for the reaction, you know, at 8 o'clock. But yeah, you can miss some opportunities for sure. But what you can see right now, 8 o'clock opened up with this big bullish engulfing candle, giving you here a break of structure, and that is the result of the opening. So that means it leaves you here right now with nice liquidity, and it leaves you here with a nice potential demand zone to look for a nice longing opportunity. And that was actually your entry to go for this long. You could have looking at 5 seconds here as well, because at the moment when price is hitting a 1 minute demand zone, it's totally valid to look for 5 seconds confirmations to see that price is giving you a better entry. Because in this case, here entering here like this would be probably a little bit high. So for me, definitely that would be too high, because I would need to cover it all the way here. That will be 2.5. I do not take nothing which is higher than 2 pips, so I need to at least do it like this, you know. But I have the risk that price will come here into the 5-second refine area here, and we just use that as liquidity. And I don't know it at that point, but what I know is here that price is giving you here move down, okay, and then it's it breaks here the structure. Okay, that is your first valid structure break to the upside after it headed in that demand zone. And what you're going to use here is just that one candle that created that break of structure, and that is your real entry, and that's it. So it's really easy. Was a beautiful trade. If you would have been taking it, so even below 1 pip would have been possible. Me personally, I would take it like this, okay, because I never know how low it could go. Yeah, you had here a gap. Gaps are always strong demand zones. As you can see, this gap got here filled, came up, and that is the order flow on the 5 seconds, what the price is continuing here. So I would definitely just cover up this, so I will not miss the trade, so I will not get out of the trade. Probably it's more volatile. If that would just be a failure, then price would have been just gone lower. And yes, many more opportunities here. You can see price just following the order flow. Yes, perfect. So that is actually the Frankfurt trade. So we can just expect right now price to come lower, of course, to just get rid of this whole liquidity that we have there. We can look right now then also on London Open if price will give us something. Yeah, as you can see, price is really taking off from here. Okay, So you can see it really starts to go bullish, bullish, bullish. Where is 9 o'clock? Yeah, we're about to be at 9 o'clock, so 3 minutes to go. Perfectly. So we are here at this time. We are at the supply zone at the top. Okay. Backtesting tool is the best. And you are waiting as always for the reaction on the London Open. As you can see, price is moving a little bit lower. Here it looks like it's breaking first time structure. Yeah, and it's not breaking it. Okay, that's the interesting part right now here. So that is not a break, because that is a liquidity grab. It needed to close below, didn't. Okay, so if you say, okay, I'm just going to enter here. So right now what I didn't check is if there is even a M1 POY here in this. But as you can see, it's a whole range, you know, so that's what makes it, of course, more difficult. Plus what I need to add here is that on the M15, you have here you have here this, which makes it more interesting for us, because you have your liquidity, and that is the real POY where I will look for a short, you know. But yes, it's totally valid to look even here for something, but you need to understand right now, okay, that's a liquidity grab. Let's see how we'll continue, if it will give us still a drop. No, it's not giving us anything, as you can see. So from my point of view, there was just no confirmation to go short. If you would have been taking it on the 5 seconds, then the whole story will be a different one. But this one is not a specified M1 supply zone where I will look for a 5-second confirmations. Okay, so that's right now the difference. Why here it's for me totally not valid to really look for a trade if we follow the trading plan properly. Okay, so it's moving. Any opportunities to get involved? Let's see. So you can also here go with the flow, you know, of course, like it was here. But here was a little bit different, because you got a supply zone, and as you can see, it's giving you a reaction from the supply zone, and the supply zone fails in reality to go below the demand zone. And that is why the supply zone is just a weak one, and this is why price is breaking up here. And here you can see, okay, they do not have the intention to really bring the price lower. Instead of, no, they would like to bring it up higher, because there is right now a lot of liquidity, which will be right now definitely the target for the market. Okay, so you need to definitely always understand what price is trying to give you here, what kind of information it's providing with you. And it's here, from my point of view, totally valid to just hold this trade till price will really just shift, you know. And if it will give you a nice BOS, then right, but here there is no valid BOS. So right now here, important is this is a BOS for sure, but it's an internal structure. The swing structure on the M1 is from here till here, because it broke the last time structure here, you know. And that is why you would like to see this get broken here. So, you know, that's why it makes it invalid to look here for short. Okay, perfect. Price is moving. Like I said, on the 9 o'clock to really get an entry is a bit tricky, but you have an option for sure. Like always, you have something. You can see this is the candle. This is, let's say it's the supply zone. Actually, in reality, it's really the supply zone where price created here. And it just created a supply zone, which is not a strong one, because it failed to go lower here. But it's a normal supply zone because it broke internally structure here. That means this supply zone is a flip zone. Okay, so this supply gets here demand. But yeah, also here, as you can see, unfortunately price do not really came into it, you know, so I just fall right now. Probably will get here the entry, but yeah, you can just draw the supply zone like this, you know, and this is your refined one. Now, would you enter this? Me personally, I would not enter this. Now, if 5 second will give us something that would be interesting for sure. Yeah, there it is. Actually, there it is. So this is right now the same example like on the M15 where I said range mitigation, because right now the idea of what I'm trying to explain you right now is London pushed price down, okay? Then it failed to break structure here, which makes it automatically that this is liquidity. It's targeting this liquidity here, and it's using it to bring the price up higher. But they still have here their shorts, you know. Now, of course, here they got rid of some of their shorts, and this is why you expect price to come here to start the move from there. But what they really want is they just want to mitigate this move down, okay? So if you use this one, you will see, oh yeah, this is a supply zone, you know. That's my refined 5 second supply zone, and price comes into this, but it's okay if it's also big. So I'm just showing you right now that it's possible to refine it. And what you want to see is price coming to it to close the short positions in order to enter long. So you will like to see sellers and buyers switching here positions, and this is what they're doing here by providing you break of structure, and your entry will be definitely here. That's it. So it's, you know, it's right now not a textbook kind of thing, but it's definitely something which you can apply. And that's why I'm saying with the strategy, you can really take like thousands of risk reward on a daily basis. The only question is, are you going to always recognize that? So for me, something like this is pretty difficult to identify, and I would not focus myself to just look for setups like this, because these kind of setups would just make sense once you understood what price is trying to tell you here, okay? And especially here, you know, okay, I have some options. I have an option to go short, okay? And in this case, the first short option, if you would say, okay, I'm looking on the 5 seconds to go short, then this one would have been your short here. And still, there was a ton of risk reward possible. And I would just definitely target the liquidity or potential liquidity in this case, you know, because we don't know if it will fail. So this kind of trade will be definitely possible, and I would say this is valid. And I would just look here to see if it will break it, because if it will break it, then price will anyway come up higher to mitigate the M1 supply zone, and then you will have the real confirmation. Okay, I can now really look for the 5 seconds confirmation if price come up higher again. So this is how you need to be very flexible here in this trading this strategy. But yeah, then if you just understand, okay, price is moving up higher, moving back down, yeah, it's a flip zone, of course, because we understood the whole price action of the London banks, and yeah, that's basically the whole result. What I forgot to mention is, for this whole up move, there was an additional confirmation for it as well. You can use the Asia session, okay, so to understand where Asia session opens at 10, you can even use 8 if you would like to use Australia, then this is here your Asia liquidity, you know. So you have here the whole Asia liquidity, which gets absorbed right now with this up move, and of course here you have another additional liquidity. Yeah, so I just want to mention that here as well. Yeah, price is moving, and we are coming very close to some POIs up here. And if we look here, we can understand that this is a nice supply zone up here, which, yeah, has on the M1 nice supply zone, which could be still mitigated, and that's what we've been looking for to go short from. And this is the point where I explained you something very interesting, because I was looking for price to come up here, you know, so I could look for some confirmations. Now in this case, you are at the protected high. You are in a refined supply zone, so you can see here in the M1 that there is a nice supply zone. Okay, so you could just use the WEX. You can see even nice liquidity, even like equal highs here, which you have, and price comes into this POI. Now, what you're doing at this point is you're just using the 5 seconds and you're good. You had here more options to get involved in this trade. I'm not sure right now if I broke it down for you, but this is how I send it to you guys. I sent you 2 zones where I was looking for short, this one and this one, so I didn't know which one to use, because it's important to understand that you are at this point here, you are already in the best position possible. After such a big up move, you know, it will be time for some short movement, especially if everything shows you that this could be the last POI for shorts, and it will just make super sense. The price will go short from here. So you don't know if price will even return to the highest supply zone. So I would just recommend just trading the first one that you get. That's what I did, but I also placed a sell limit right up there. And you had another confirmations here in addition, which was on the M1. You've seen here that price gave you here BOS. Okay, so this is valid BOS. So first it broke structure here normally, then it broke it back down. So that's for me right now totally valid like this, because from here it broke this structure. Okay, so from here it broke this structure. And then you just see here something, right? You can see this, and you could just draw it on this candle. And if you come on the 5 seconds, then you know exactly how to refine it. On the 5 second, you would just understand, okay, price is giving me here some sort of liquidity. Of course, not the best right now here, trying to give you some extra liquidity for this potential short. And then price is just dropping, you know? Yeah. That's it. And from your price then really starts to move down. And what I shared with you here was something important, because 4 hours, as I explained, is in this bearish structure thing. And if it would have been breaking here this to the upside, then we just had a high chance the price will move on like this. Still, it would be, from my point of view, still bearish at some point, but it would just go above this here, and that is a problem, because it could just easily go bullish then from here, because it's breaking here this structure, and it would just change here the new swing structure. So yeah, that's just an additional confirmation at this point. The price would just go crazy. I'm just okay. I knew that fact, and still I closed my positions. So yeah, I'm probably a little bit stupid, but yeah, it's part of it. Yeah, so you could hold this trade, and yeah, at 2 o'clock there was an opportunity, but from my point of view, not the cleanest. Okay, because you're not here in any kind of interesting POI. You're just in a big imbalance, which yeah, is just from my point of view not the only confirmation that I'm looking for. But you can use here the same kind of thing. You know the price, and you know where big institutions get involved. And if you understand here pretty clear, this is 5 minutes before New York will open, and you can see, yes, they are pressing the price all the way back up. So you have your demand zone, and you got definitely here break of structure. You have a ton of liquidity here. So of course, this is a nice trade. But yeah, where are you going to close it? You need to understand that you are here just expecting some pullbacks. So from my point of view, you cannot go for a big trade. Maximum with a 1 pip stop loss, a 1 to 15 from my point of view, which you should go for. It's definitely possible a 1 to 20 to take also in a pullback, but just a little bit tricky, because you need to really pick up the peak of it, and the peak of it will be here. Okay, so if I'm using it right now like this, and I'm putting up the whole thing, then you can see 21 pip 0.5 is what price did. So you really, that's kind of the measurements for pullback on the Euro USD. So this is why 1 to 20 is in every single situation possible, but only with a 1 pip stop loss, of course, and you need to keep in mind that probably you're not getting involved right from the peak, because that's never possible. So 115 is always the safest way to go. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Then for me, the day is gone. So we just wait for the next day on Frankfurt session to see what price is giving us then. Okay, good. Now, just by understanding right now this kind of thing, so let me just delete this. Don't need that anymore. Everything fine. We already mastered this whole thing. We go very quickly on the 4 hours. I hate this tool sometimes, really. You can see here, that's obvious. This is liquidity from my point of view. So we've seen it many times on EURUSD. Whenever it pushes like this, in this case, you see it. It failed to go up higher than this. Even if it would have been breaking structure, it would be very possible price to just go lower. Yes, it's right now still on the bullish order flow, but it's more likely to be liquidity because we know where the real swing structure is. So we definitely expect that. What I said to you is, yeah, I could imagine the price will come all the way back up here. It's a possibility, but of course also possible that price would just go here through that. Me personally, I didn't took here any trade at that day here in this range. I just took afterwards something, but also nothing crazy. So I just I was not on the charts. I was just on my phone, and I just took there some trades with very reduced risks. Yeah, share with you then something, but yeah. So let's come to this price action. What you see here on the 4 hours is, yeah, you got here a demand zone where price could come, and you got this one here. So 2 targets for the 4 hours. Then on the M15, you can already see right now this kind of thing. And that's interesting. And that's what I wanted to show with you, is that this is a bullish leg. But you don't have any inducement right now for price to use in order to bring it back up to come into this POY, which I told you it's a possibility. Because this here is not really inducement, you can't really see something. This is why price is just moving, This is the first inducement, but it's already at the lowest low possible. So it's actually the demand zone itself, and you can see that this demand zone just got touched multiple times, which makes it automatically super weak. So you can expect price to really reverse very soon from this point. And what you can see is, if you follow right now the bearish flow here, it's here a nice BOS, right? So you got a BOS. So this is what you're looking for. This is your leg. And of course, here at the top, that is your protected one. Now, of course, in this case, the protected one and the leg, there's a huge range between it. And what we understood is, you are in this bearish order flow, and you don't really have inducement to bring it up here till the protected. And this is the point where, for me, the lag just makes more sense than the protected one, because the protected one is, of course, always the best. But that doesn't mean right now, okay, I will never trade the lags, because the lags makes a lot of sense. Okay, this is why we are marking them up. Otherwise, I would never mark up these ones. Okay, and this is the same kind of thing like it was on this example. It's just here the thing that on the daily time frame, it was also something where price could just go easy to the upside, and it's why price just used that one chance at that time. Now here it looks very like, yeah, price is trying to accumulate something, but in reality it's just providing you a lot of big box of liquidity, and it would just peak a little bit above some sort of liquidity and will just drop down. So it's this bearish kind of thing. Internally it's just switching, here it broke it then one more time to the downside. Okay, so in this case it moving this here, and the protected one here. Okay, that's the interesting part now. We will play a little bit everything further. We also understand, okay, we have Asia liquidity. A ton of Asia liquidity is what we have. And this is my Asia liquidity. So ideally, is always on the Asia liquidity, price will run it on this side, then dropping it here and then dropping like this, or like this and then like this, or of course like this and then dropping crazy, a lot of variations. But yeah, we just keep in mind that we have that. Plus, you understand right now, okay, this is a strong supply zone because it was successful in breaking the structure to the downside. So this is my supply zone. Coming right now on the M1 to refine it. This is my range. And this is my liquidity. Now, it's about to be 8 o'clock. So I would like to always see the reaction of 8 o'clock. And there we have it. Price is dropping. And now we need to really read what price is doing here, because this is super interesting now. You can see price. So let me just, yeah, it's okay. I did it like this because you can see here right now I already did a peak, and that's the whole goal of it. But let's just move it like this. The thing is, price broke structure here, okay, and here the first BOS to the downside. So from my point of view, especially it broke this one here as well, okay, it is for me shifting bearish after it tapped in the M1 supply zone. So it's totally valid from my point of view to look here for a short. You have a lot of liquidity here, and you can go short. That's it. That's the whole trade from my point of view here. You could just look on 5 seconds. You see here, nice inducement for the upper one, extra inducement. Just see how price will react here. Okay. So yeah, here for instance, what's definitely possible, you can see this supply zone, which, oops, you can see how here it broke the same kind of thing how I explained here on this trade, it swept the high, broke the high, came back down, broke here this internally, so it makes this supply here automatically valid to look for a short. And you can see how price is just, creating this kind of thing, and yeah, it's just moving. So that one here from my point of view also still a valid trade. Yeah, you got M1 confirmation, you got 5 seconds confirmation, you got a lot of setups which would have been here easy possible to go for a trade. You see the reaction of 8 o'clock. Yeah, you can see it didn't made anything crazy or something. So yeah, in reality what it did is Frankfurt just pushed it up here to close this positions in order to bring it down to the downside. That's what it did. Okay, yeah, so for me nothing more to really look for. Now here for instance, here this is your supply zone. Okay, can look here for something. Okay, this is always inducement like this when you have a situation like this and price is just dropping. I didn't took it. For me it was not clear too much because I wanted to see the Asia liquidity getting run. Yeah, that's it what it did, so very, very minimal, this kind of thing. Plus, what we also had here in this case was a refined M1 up here, okay? But I just totally ignored the fact that M1 switched bearish, and that was my problem at the end. Oh, sorry, that's the BOS here, okay? So this will be also okay, but this BOS here is that one that makes it right now definitely super valid to look for shorts, okay? Because this is your structure, and this one got broken. So this is your new bearish swing structure at this point, and you can just look to get involved at the top of it, and you're just using 5 seconds at the top of this supply zone, and you go short. Okay, and then you always catch something like this, and price will always try to fill in some extra positions by providing liquidity like here. So this is, from my point of view, what we can see here is just textbook. Okay, it's really textbook. As I said, the only thing which was not textbook was that price did not really tap into the refined supply zone, but it broke structure on the M1, and this is already enough because it is a 1M range up here, and that's totally fine. Yeah, price is moving. London opening, I guess it comes a little bit to the supply zone or not, I'm not sure yet. Not really giving, you know, so from my point of view, the London open didn't give me anything here, you know. Looking here for a short, not possible from my point of view. Probably this, you know, entering like this, but I don't know if you would do that, or me personally, I would not really do that. That's just too risky. Yeah, just doesn't make sense to risk it like this, you know. It's just, yeah, how should I say, it's too risky from my point of view. Yeah, so time's just coming. Here on M15, what we can see pretty obviously is where we have liquidity. So this here, I mapped it out like this, and the second zone like this, but we just use the whole range, you know, and just looking to see how price will react within it. You can see that you have here a ton of liquidity. Okay, totally fine. You have here liquidity, and you have here a lot of liquidity, and of course here you're also expecting price to come lower here in this demand zone, for instance, you know. So yeah, price is pushing here down, and we come very closely to our next opportunity because we are looking here to go long. And on the M1, you can see here how price, yeah, started to shift, creating some bullish structure. Of course, also here, not the easiest possibilities to look for a trade. Interesting would be right now to see if we have here some POIs that make sense. So this one just got run. So you got here, you know, you can see here, this is your demand range here. Okay, you got a demand range, but here also nothing really nice. This one probably, but price, I guess, didn't tap into it, no. But yeah, it came in the M1. How you're going to enter, I would not recommend you to do here something on the seconds from my point of view, and I wanted to see here a break of this. It only happens here, so the only option to look for a trade would be here, or something here in this demand zone, and just waiting, of course, for 5-second reaction if it will tap into it. And yeah, there you have it. So you got here your breaks. So this is your trade, for instance. That would be one here, you know, in the 5 seconds. It makes definitely sense, okay? Because if this would be right now M1 refined one, but as you can see, this is not really a refined one. If you would treat it like this, would be from my point of view also okay, because you are definitely here in a liquidity pool. So why not? I just don't recommend it, you know, because you can make a lot of losers. If you're already experienced, then you can do that. Yeah, I can see here the first break. You can see here your first entry. Then you see the next entry will be again here. Okay, you got the gap. Then this one will be the cleanest one for me because it broke this here. Okay, and that's what would make it, from my point of view, this trade here would make a lot of sense to look for this one. Okay, if I'm looking around M1, you know, this is a doji, you know, this is a doji. So from my point of view, this is a M1 BOS. And that M1 BOS would, from my point of view, totally validate to look for longs, and it's obviously only this one because everything else is just mitigated, so you can use only this one, and this was, from my point of view, the trade that would have been possible at this time here. Then what we're waiting for is, of course, New York to come into play. So let me just make a little bit here bar replay. You can see price switch back bullish, but you're still bearish, and you got a supply zone up here. And this is exactly the supply zone that was created by Frankfurt. So you can expect actually price to come into it and to go short from there. What I was also looking for was here a short. At the end, I didn't took it, but I guess we even had confirmations for it. Did we? No. No. No, we didn't. Okay, so here, only if you would have been using the 5 seconds, because you would say, okay, we are in the refined one, then totally agree with that. Because here, you can see right now how you can really just squeeze out more confirmations out of your trades. You can just wait always for M1 BOS, and then you're entering on the 5 seconds afterwards to get a more refined style. Or you're just entering up front, like in this case would have been possible to go here for a short, and you're just putting at least your trade at break even, because you understand that price never broke structure here. Okay, so many traders would say, okay, this is a valid BOS here, but you're looking here for a valid BOS, you don't get it there, so you're moving it till here, then here you don't get it, you're moving it to here, you don't get it, you're moving it here, you don't get it, and as you can see, price never gives you BOS. So pretty interesting one. What it's giving you here is it comes to the only supply zone from my point of view where price could have been gone, and that would be this one. But on the 5 seconds, price doesn't give you any options to look to enter it here. Okay, that one is just tricky to come here into a trade. It just gives you afterwards a nice opportunity to get involved here, because you can just go with the order flow. You can just decide by yourself, okay, how am I going to proceed here? What kind of setups I'm going to take? How much I want to risk? In this case, it's obvious it's going bearish, and you can see here your supply zone. So you come to the 5 seconds, and you see here in the 5 seconds that you have this one, the small thing here, which is a valid one. And what you can do is you can just wait for confirmations. And here was your confirmation. And this one would have been your supply zone to enter. Boom. Sorry. So also this easy trade from my point of view. So I took, for instance, this trade, but not with such a crazy stop loss. And I also used reduced risk at that time because I was not on the charts. Yeah, then you're same kind of thing. Price again giving you here nice opportunity to get involved at this supply zone. Yeah, just 5 seconds. In this case, a little bit tricky to get involved, and then on the 5 seconds. So from my point of view here, you can see here something now. Yeah. Tricky. I would just use it as a normal supply zone in this case. Yeah, don't force trading. From my point of view, that one here was a clean one, that was super clean, and that's more than enough. But if you missed that, okay, you could have been just gone on this one, and you're just targeting, oh, look at this, here is your real entry. It's coming back down after it gives you here the BOS. Come on the 5 seconds, and it's okay. So totally valid to just look here for shorts. No need to wait for extra confirmation. If you still want to do it, this is enough. That is right now really the last piece of price action confirmation that you can get. As you can see here, really to the pip, it works out. Boom, moving down, and we target, of course, the demand zones that we have down there. Booyah. Okay, now very quick outlook. I don't know what price will do, as always. I never know what it will do. I hope that you definitely understood right now everything what I explained. Kind of a very long video. I didn't plan it right now to make it that long, but yeah, as you can see, if we're really back testing it here, then yeah, we have a lot of things that we need to add here on this whole thing. And yeah, what can we expect now? Let me check. So you got definitely here the BOS, you know. So we got here the lag. You got here nice potential liquidity for the market. It's definitely super bearish. The order flow is bearish. I expect price to continue to go bearish now from here. And we could easily now, don't know right now what it will do here, come like this, looking for shorts. But from my point of view, I would just understand where the Asia liquidity is in the morning, and I will see if it's in my favor. Just going then with the M15 order flow. All right, now also me right now really don't know what I could do here. From my point of view, this is already nice mitigated. I don't have here any supplies on which I would say, okay, definitely a good one. So from my point of view, just here, this one would make sense, you know. This one here would make sense. Oh, or do we have here? No, this one makes more sense probably. Yeah, let's see. So this whole thing can be marked up. We just look when price will come into it, giving us here some reactions, and then we're just going to trade off of these. That's it, guys. I wish you a nice weekend, and hopefully to see everybody crazy motivated on Monday. So me personally, I am. So I can't wait to bank some profits. Hopefully everybody will do it. Wish you a nice weekend, guys. Bye bye, my friends.